Why do you even care about when to inject? Aren't we just trying to get the stuff in our body? What's up, TRT community? Let's help each other. So, what do you guys think about the beard? Yes, no, maybe so? What are you feeling? You know, I've actually been gone long enough to grow this beard. Not only to grow this beard, but to totally shave it all gone and then grow this beard. Yes, that's how long I've been gone, I'm sorry, but hey, I've got something for you. You want a little laugh before we get into our subject? You know, my old little, I call it a padlock, the old padlock that I had, I decided to shave it off in phases and have a little fun with it. You want to have a little fun? Watch what I did. So there you go. But you didn't come here to learn about my facial hair. You don't care about that. What you care about is when should you inject? So I did a little bit of recon before I made this video, a little bit of recon in that I took a poll among you all, most of you at least. I had a lot of you participate in this poll, so thank you. And we'll get to what that poll said in just a second, but I basically asked people, how often do you inject? Do you inject every 2 weeks? Do you inject every week? Do you inject twice a week? Multiple times? Daily? What do you do? All right, so I'm gonna grab my laptop here and we'll look at this together. All right, so as you see, 151 of you participated, so thank you very much for that. Every 2 weeks, 9% of you do that. Once a week, 32%. As you see, the group that won was twice a week, and guess what? I recently joined that group, and we're going to talk about that in just a second. Some of you do it daily. Actually, the least amount of you do it daily at 5% there. Other is 17%. If you want to know what that other is, some people inject every 2 days, I found out from the comments. Some people inject every 5 days, I found out from the comment as well. This is what it is going to boil down to, though. You need to listen to your body. I've talked about that in past episodes of listening to your body. What do I mean by listening to your body? Okay. Whatever your negative symptoms were prior to getting on TRT, whatever those negative symptoms were, those were the things that drove you to get on TRT in the first place, right? Those negative symptoms for me were mood changes, energy loss, low libido, a little bit of kind of mild depression, nothing crazy, but I would get down in the depths pretty easily just kind of for no reason, which is connected with mood swings, I know. So when I first started TRT, guess what? My doctor had me injecting every 2 weeks. That's just what he told me to do. And I quickly found out that my body did not like that because I would inject and then I would get this massive amount of testosterone in my system, and I felt great for those first couple of days. I felt really good, actually. But then when it was almost time to inject again, what I found out was, man, some of those negative symptoms started to come back. Man, I was emotionally all over the place. I was down in the dumps, and then 2 days after that, I got to inject again. So that's when I went to weekly. And guys, I was doing weekly for over a year, okay? I was injecting weekly for over a year because it worked. And that's really what it's going to boil down to for you, is what works best for you, okay? Don't really let other people say, this is what you should be doing and this is what you should not be doing. I would take some of their advice, because that's what we do on this channel, is we help each other. And by the way, it would be an absolute pleasure to have you as part of the TRT community. So if you don't mind, if you have not subscribed yet, please do that. That way you can be a part of this community and not miss any of the videos which I make to help you. And so, yes, take people's advice with a grain of salt. Meaning, okay, I like to use the phrase, eat the fish and spit out the bones. If their advice helps you, awesome. But you know, it might not. All of us, as you saw with that poll I did, we do it kind of differently. Most of us are doing twice a week, yes, but a lot of people aren't. So listen to your body. If your negative symptoms start to come back when you're doing it, let's say every 2 weeks, then maybe try weekly. If weekly isn't working for you, and I'm going to tell you here in just a second why weekly stopped working for me, then maybe try every 2 weeks. Now, of course, when you do this, don't forget to split up your dosage. We're not suggesting in any way that whatever you were injecting at 2 weeks, let's say you were injecting 200 milligrams every 2 weeks. Well, if you go to weekly, of course, guys, cut that in half. And then, you know, so you're still getting the same amount in your system. I just want to make sure I make that clear for all of us. Don't want anybody hulking out. I have learned that whenever my body is getting a little too low on testosterone, the first negative symptom of mine that starts to creep back up is I get in a funky mood. I get grumpy a little more easily than I should. I get whatever, I don't care anymore about nothing. I get in sort of that mood a little bit more easily. And so that was starting to happen to me, even though I was injecting weekly and had been for over a year. I noticed that on certain days, usually almost 2 days of the week, because I was injecting either on Thursdays or Fridays. Sometimes I would miss, and so I would go every Friday, and then I would catch back up and go back to every Thursday. So I started noticing that on certain days of the week, my mood got funky. Consistently, by about 3 weeks in a row, and I thought, I don't like this, and it feels like those kind of moods I would get into back in the day before I started all this. And so I said, well, let me split my dosage in half. And by the way, some of you have been asking, right now, well, when I was injecting every week, I was at 80 milligrams per week. So now I'm injecting 40 milligrams twice a week. And guys, if you're wondering if your testosterone is low, that's probably why some of you might have clicked on this video in the first place, then click this little link up here and you will go to a video that I did reviewing an at-home testing kit by Let's Get Checked. It works. It's inexpensive. There's a coupon code in that video as well to get you 20% off. So don't worry about that. Don't wonder about that anymore. You can find out and possibly get on a road to a better you. So to help me be a better me, I found that I need to start injecting possibly every 2 weeks. I mean, no, not every 2 weeks. Twice a week. And I've been doing that for, I would say, probably about 3 months now. And guess what? It worked. And so what it boils down to, guys, is do what works for you. If you're new, of course, do what your doctor's telling you to do. Try that. And then if that's not working for you, then take some advice from the TRT community. Guys helped me when I first started, and they said, hey, maybe you should try weekly. And I did, and that did really help me. But guess what? Had it not helped me, then I probably would have tried something else. So sometimes the advice is great advice, and we've got to all do what actually works best for us. Why do you even care about when to inject? Aren't we just trying to get the stuff in our body? Well, let's talk about that, and for that I'm going to change camera angles because we have short attention spans. Alright guys, well you know that we inject testosterone because we have low testosterone, we have a deficiency of it. We are trying to get back to a normal range, and the normal range that I would say most doctors are going to agree upon. You'll find different charts online, and different doctors use different charts too. But just for simplicity's sake, we're going to say that, 850 is around the upper end, and 300 nanograms per deciliter is around the lower end. Anything below 300, most doctors will prescribe you testosterone if you are lower than 300, some 250 or lower. But this is the normal range that doctors want us to stay within. They would say a normal, healthy man is going to have a testosterone level within this area. So when we inject, what we're trying to do, of course, is keep our levels within this healthy range. We don't want to go way too up here, and we definitely don't want to dip way too down in here. And that's what was happening when I was injecting every 2 weeks, is I would inject, and then of course that is going to peak 48 hours later. By the way, guys, 48 hours later is when testosterone cypionate peaks in your system. Well, what was happening is, as it naturally goes down, since testosterone cypionate has a half-life of 8 days, what was happening when I was injecting every 2 weeks is this was just going down way too low. It was getting down here. And so, of course, I don't want that. Then I would inject again and it would go high and then low and high and then low. So when we inject more frequently, we're staying within this happy range a bit better, because then I'm injecting, and let me get a different colored marker. I'm injecting more frequently, so then it would go up and then go down and then go up and then go down and then go up. So as I inject more frequently, I'm staying within this happy area. That makes sense, right? So when you're trying to figure out when should you inject, that's what you're going to have to think about. You're going to have to think about, okay, what day can I inject, and when is this going to work best for me, and when do I have time to make sure I can inject, and when will I not forget? So pick the days that help you as well, because what I found is sometimes on the weekend worked better for me. Like on Sundays when I was injecting weekly, then it turned out that Thursdays or Fridays worked better for me, so I slowly moved things so I could get to Thursdays and Fridays. But keep that in your mind as well. You need to pick days that are going to be the most friendly for you injecting, and not days where you're going to have to hurry up and rush to get it in. So guys, I don't want anybody to have to feel like they have to treat their calendar like it's a dartboard and they just have to try to guess and figure out when they're going to inject just based on where the dart lands. No, you can listen to your body. Remember, we talked about that. Listen to your body, see what it's telling you. You know what negative symptoms you had before you started. You know what negative symptoms you had that caused you to want to start. Some of those will start creeping back in when your testosterone is getting too low, but wait and see if it does it consistently. Don't be changing when you inject week by week by week. You got to give it some time. Try it for, I would say, a month, and then see if that helps your negative symptoms stay at bay, and then go with that. So I hope this has been helpful. If it has, give me a like, please. I love you guys. Thanks for watching. God bless. Peace.